That
You don't want to get married?
No.
No.
Why not?
Uh-oh. All right.
Yeah,
What?
Brian.
1,
Let's
2,
switch the
3, 4,
spotlight.
5, 6, 7. All right, 1v7. Okay. Well, so I'm not opposed to necessarily having a life partner, but there are certain. I'm sorry, Michael. There are certain realities when it comes to marriage that, from the male perspective, make it seem risky.
Oh, only from the male perspective? Because I can feel like it's also risky
men
from
are
the female perspective.
How so?
I think you've never been in love.
I feel like
Yeah.
if
Or
you're
very
thinking about
offended.
risk factor, I feel like it goes both ways.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like,
they're
it
turning
not.
on me.
Well, but to your point, Brian, you make a good amount of money. The way the judicial system works, if a woman divorced you, she could take a bunch of your money. She could take your kids. So there's a risk. But my question is, if you're already going to have a life partner, which sounds, I'm sorry to say, kind of gay, like it's not gendered, it's not traditional.
Thank you for saying that.
It's just if you're going to do that anyway, but you want to protect against divorce, why not just marry a woman who's not going to get divorced?
Well,
or get a prenup.
Yeah, literally.
So you're saying, like, well, if you find a great woman that you know that's
no,
just
not even just that. I'm saying because you could find the most wonderful woman in the world, and then I don't know, someday something goes off in her brain and she totally turns on you. But what if you create the structures such that you're not going to get divorced? I'll give you an example. I'm Catholic. My wife and I cannot get divorced. She could murder me. That would be her way out of the marriage. But we can. It is not possible for us to get divorced. Now, if let's say you're not Catholic yet, and maybe you don't, you haven't worked through these things, maybe.
Wait, did you say yet?
We're just talking. And
Okay.
so, I'm saying, what if before you get married, you sign a prenup, but not the kind of prenup now, not the kind of prenup where you say, okay, in case we get divorced, we get 50-50. What if you sign a prenup that says, if you divorce me,
I will kill you.
Yeah, I'll kill you. Whoever brings the divorce forfeits everything. That's the Knowles prenup, and then you're safe. She's not going to take your kids, and she's not going to take your money, and you get to be married and not have a life partner.
Sure. I mean, I'd love to bring on a family attorney to ask him questions about this, but kind of what I've heard and my understanding when it comes to prenuptial agreements is that oftentimes they can be thrown out, and I don't think prenups can apply to post-marriage. So you can protect your assets that you've acquired pre-marriage. I could be totally off base here, but I've heard prenups can get thrown out. Someone could say, "Oh, I was signed it under duress," blah blah blah. It's unfair. It's there's a specific term for it that's evading me right now. It's
But is that why you don't want to get married? Because you're afraid of the divorce potentially?
Afraid of women.
Why not just date another successful woman?
Do you have
not
trust
into it.
issues, Brian?
wow. This
Yeah.
Sounds like
It
trust
sounds like
issues.
you have
Yeah.
trust
Pile-
issues.
pile
It's just
on.
Michael and the girls here. I'm intervening with you, Brian.
Like if you dated another successful woman, wouldn't that fear kind of disappear? Because then if anything, it's like, she could be scared of your
What if she's more
you take her
successful than
money
you?
or
Like,
something
what if
like
she's
that.
making more money than you are?
Yeah. Like why are we
But
assuming
also,
that you're the breadwinner?
you want a wife, right? I mean, you want to not.
Apparently not.
Maybe he wants to be
He
a
wants a
What I'm
life
saying is,
partner,
like-
Mike. He wants a life partner.
Yeah, well, you're right. Okay,
wants a
maybe that does
dog.
sound.
You know what's big now? Virtual girlfriends,
Yeah.
virtual wives. It's a
Is that
thing now.
Like
not
this
AI?
one.
What is
You get an AI wife.
What is a
or he'll just
virtual
be a
wife?
You know
passport.
that
He wants a
in
dog
the
that speaks
future,
English.
Yeah.
But she can take all his money. Oh,
And
sure.
that he wouldn't
But
get in
it's like
trouble
a thing in
for.
the future now. You can have a virtual, it's like an AI, but it will interact
We're figuring
with
out
you.
your love life
just
here,
like
Brian.
your
Yeah.
friend.
Like Siri.
Why aren't you
just
married?
put all your
That
faith
is
into
probably
us
gonna
and we can
happen.
figure it out for
Yeah,
you.
we'll figure out all your love life
We really want to get
issues.
to the root of this problem.
Yeah.
I don't see the benefit.
This is why I asked, don't you want a wife?
Of having
It's
a
like,
companion?
I can have a companion and not be married. And I'm not a fan of the government, so I don't want the government involved in my love
But if
affairs.
you
Do you
live
want
with someone
children?
more than 10 years, you're going to
Be
it's
legally
gonna be
married.
legally.
It's common
Not-
law marriage anyway.
Well, that's only some states. Not all states have common law marriage. California,
We do.
I don't know
We
how
do.
long. No, California does not have common law marriage.
Yeah, we
But-
do.
Yeah, we
We
do.
do.
Yeah,
My
we do.
parents are by that.
No, not
That's the
California.
only
I'm pretty sure California is not common law
Yeah,
marriage.
no.
Yeah,
That's
my
the only
parents
reason why
are
my mom
also
is still
common.
on my dad's
Google
side.
it.
Here, I'll do common law marriage.
They're legally
states, just
married by
we'll
the
look it up.
state, but they've never been.
Um,
They haven't been dating since 2001.
So,
They did it for
okay,
1
here,
year.
Colorado, Iowa, Kansas, Montana, New Hampshire, Oklahoma, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Texas, Utah, and D.C. Those are the only, according to this sterlinglawyers.com.
Your very quick Google search. Your 2-second search.
So I think it's a minority of states that have common law marriage. But yes, that is a risk factor in those states. If you are cohabitating with somebody and you almost treat your relationship as if you're married, then you are basically, in the eyes of the law, you are married. Luckily in California, which I don't know how much longer I'm going to stay here, I'm probably going to get canceled by proxy because Michael's on the show, but just kidding. But
maybe kidding. I don't know. You probably the franchise tax board is going to come and evict you. Probably.
Oh, geez. Scary stuff. So I don't have anything against for other people. That's great. I've sort of looked at the numbers. I've done the calculus, and to me it seems like, here, I'll put the math here. I've done the math. 50% of marriages end in divorce, and the stats I've seen, 80% of divorces are initiated by women. And so when I say it's bad for the man, divorce, the negative consequences of divorce typically tend to disproportionately impact men. They can impact women, but I think 97% of alimony payments go from men to women. So there are some concerns there financially, and then just you have the government involved, and then it can be quite contentious. And then not only is there the consideration in terms of splitting your assets, but then you have lawyers involved. And I don't have anything necessarily wrong, perhaps from a religious perspective, with marriage. But when the state's involved, and I think we ought to perhaps rewrite marriage laws to perhaps incentivize men to get married again, because you have no-fault divorce. Yeah. And what's the other thing? And then your wife could cheat on you and then take half your shit. I think under certain circumstances, if you can prove it in a courtroom, that perhaps you shouldn't be on the hook for alimony if there's been some infidelity, for example.
You're saying so that you could dump your wife if she cheats on you?
Yes, without any
Brian,
financial.
who hurt
Most
you?
prenups include
Let me
ask you a
I feel
question.
like you're always worried about something gonna happen bad. Why don't you just you have no trust and faith in these women.
But I think it's the society we live in now.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Let
me ask you a question. So how many people get married and they think, hey, this is the person I love, we're going to be together forever, and then you hear that divorce rate, it's like 50% of marriages end in divorce.
I think when people get married very young, right?
Isn't that the best time to get married?
Not necessarily.
Well, Michael, your thoughts on that?
Some of the
you're like an exception.
I didn't get married young, though. I've only been married now about 5 years. Yeah. But I should have gotten married younger. It's one of my quasi-regrets in life. But some of the best marriages I've ever seen were people who got married 20 years old or 22 or 23 years old. I just wonder, Brian, if because all the objections you're raising are completely legit. Sure. I just wonder if you are looking at an alternative that doesn't really exist, that's illusory. Because if you're thinking, okay, I'm going to have more freedom if I don't get married, I don't know if that's true. If you're always in one of these situations, even if you're just dating, where you think, well, where are we? Where do we stand? Is he going to leave me? Is this, that? Is that? In a marriage, in a proper marriage, all that is gone. And so you think, I had a bad day, I got in a fight with my wife, I didn't do the laundry, whatever. Doesn't matter, especially if you believe in marriage like marriage really is. You say this is an institution defined by real things. I made a covenant before God and the political community. I signed up with the government. They're going to take my money if I break this covenant. And that actually, it seems like it puts limitations on you, but it actually gives you a ton of freedom. Because you can think, oh, I'm here, we're in this. There's no getting out. There's no way out but through, and so we're just going to make this thing work. I find it's a very freeing experience.
Yeah, what if you also meet someone and she's like, I want to get married, and you're in love with this girl? Is it a deal breaker for you?
I have not crossed that.
He hasn't found that girl yet.
Road yet, yeah. But I don't know. I mean, my thinking on this is just you should never sign a contract with someone who's rewarded for breaking it. And in today's day and age, oftentimes if you break the marriage contract, there are certain financial benefits that you can reap.
But you can go get married in another country, and then you don't have to.
Passport bros, we up. I think Japan, maybe.
Yeah. Actually, you know what's happening in Japan? Because women can't there's not enough guys. So there's a thing where they have one woman wedding because all these girls want to get married.
Tokyo, here I come. You know what, Michael? You've convinced me to get married. In fact, Eric, if you can hide this, Tatum.
What? Oh gosh.
Wow.
Pull it out.
Will you marry me, Tatum?
Where'd you just get that from? Like last time you reached for it, you just had that ready.
I had it ready.
He knew you were coming.
He already knew.
Tatum, will you marry me?
Yeah.
Okay, put it. All right. Thank you, Michael. You're the best wingman
Okay.
ever.
Congratulations,
And,
man. That's
and
great.
Brian,
Best
I will be
wishes.
divorcing you at the end of this podcast.
Oh, wonderful. All right. Can you do a little Beyonce? All right. Okay. Look at that. Nice.
people in the back.
All right. Tatum Atlas. Okay, cool.